Well,
Can I
yeah.
interrupt you at 6:30?
Killing snake, is that killing snake?
Okay, the time is 6:30.
Okay.
So we'll call this work session of the mayor and council for the city of Snellville for Monday, October 22nd, 2018 to order. First, we'll go through our very long, but not that difficult agenda. See if anybody has any issues. At the invocation, I'm also gonna do, we've got Jeff, is it Gong?
Gongwer, Gongwer.
Gongwer.
I think it's pronounced Gongwer, yeah.
Okay.
That
And then
would
I was
be-
also gonna do a moment of silence for the
Weird.
officer. Chief, did you wanna say anything?
If you want me
Up to you, completely up to you.
to. I'd like to say something very briefly.
Okay, so I'll call you up after the invocation. Then we have Cub Scout Pack 50 should be here to say the pledge. Got the minutes.
As far as the minutes, could it be noted in the minutes that at that meeting, the farmer's market presented the co-op with a $5,000 check?
Sure.
Is that appropriate?
Mm-hmm. So if you, when you make the motion to approve the minutes
Okay.
for that meeting,
Oh,
just ask to amend to add
okay.
that. And that's the
That's the
September 20th
September
meeting.
24th meeting.
Oh, yeah, okay, so we've got 3 different minutes to approve.
Yeah, you want to do that in 3 separate?
Let's do it in 3 separate motions.
Okay.
Oh, you're testing me.
Yes,
Yeah, Melissa's not here to take the minutes.
testing both of us.
Yeah.
So we'll approve the minutes in three different motions.
Okay.
Yeah. September 24, 2. And we're gonna amend those. Okay. We've got no guest or committee reports. We've got a first reading for the annexation for Don Britt's property. So that'll be going to the November 12th agenda. Under new business, we've got a first reading for floodplain management. Go to November 12th. We've got the right-of-way ordinance, first read. Then we've got the awarding the bid for the resurfacing and paving to E.R. Snell. We've got the next 2 items are the resolutions to amend and correct the minutes. So when we come up on the first one, Tony will explain what we're doing there. And we've got surplus vehicles, Bill Kingsbury did the DDA, and then just expanding the DDA district. All that's happening there is pulling in a couple little properties on 124 South into the DDA, all commercial.
The properties I was looking at, that's the retention pond, the car practice people, and Warren Odd's property, the
Yeah, it's not his
Spa, day
property.
spa or something,
Yeah,
or-
yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't live there anymore.
And then Emmett Clower and Dan LeClaire's building there.
the further up from the.
It's across the
driver's
street
parking
from the
thing.
spa, just down a little,
Diagonally, yeah.
yeah, just a little bit further
Now, we're
down.
gonna have to do this again to address what we talked about the other day at the specially called meeting, because we had some inconsistencies between.
Well, this is the DDA map.
Right, but
And
I
I
mean,
think what
is
we were
that gonna-
talking about was the future land
The
use
overlay.
and the, right,
deal,
the
yeah, but I mean,
overlays.
that's not gonna impact this.
Mm.
The,
It'll cover it, but,
Well, I just want to make sure we don't have to come back again because of some conflict.
right.
Okay.
what was the reasoning for this? Was this water control or something? Because that huge retention pond thing is there? Or what was the
No, well, it's
reasoning?
gotta be contiguous space, but the reasoning was to go ahead and get those couple of properties on 124 South
So just get the property released.
into the DDA area.
Okay.
Okay, anything else on that? Okay. Any correspondence?
No, ma'am.
Treasurer's report?
No reports, but we do need an executive session.
Okay, so we're on to our discussion items. First item, Gwinnett County Senior Services Congregate Meal Program.
This is an exciting addition to services being proposed in the city, and I'll let Lisa introduce our guests.
So we were approached by Gwinnett County to possibly assist with one of the programs that they're currently offering, but they've got such a demand that they just can't fulfill all of the needs, so they're trying to offset that with some satellite locations. So I won't go into a whole lot of detail, I'll let Blake kind of do it, but we've got Gwinnett County represented here, and Blake Hawkins with Community Services will kind of give you an overview of what they do, how it will play into it, and what we're hoping to serve our citizens with. So Blake.
Super, thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone, Mayor Pro Tem Council. It's our pleasure to be here on behalf of Gwinnett County Community Services, specifically our Division of Health and Human Services. So I have Regina Miller here tonight, who's the Division Director. Gail Lane, who you all know, is now working with us. We're thrilled to have both of these ladies. Gail's been working for general funded divisions in the department, and we've been doing senior services in Gwinnett County for 45 years. This is our 45th anniversary, as a matter of fact. We have 4 current senior centers located in Lawrenceville, Beaufort, Norcross, and Centerville, the latest one. We are funded through the Older Americans Act, which is managed by the Area Agency for Aging, which in our case is the Atlanta Regional Council. So we receive federal funds and state funds, basically unit costs that we get reimbursements for to provide senior services. And the senior services, to become a member with one of our senior centers, there's an intake process, which means that you have to meet age eligibility, which is 60, a companion could be younger. And then there is an intake form. That's a form that's filled out. There's a questionnaire in which we ask the seniors questions about their lifestyle, their health, their living habits, their ability to cook and prepare food, things like that. And then once you become a member with us, then there's an annual update. But you, at that point, would be available to services such as transportation that we provide to your home, to the senior center, and back home. You get a continental breakfast at our senior centers. You get a warm lunch. There's 2 selections to choose from. We have a congregate kitchen in Lawrenceville that prepares all the food and then sends it out to the centers for the folks to have lunch. And then we have a wellness component with evidence-based programming. There's field trips. We do grocery shopping every Wednesday, because if you can't get to the senior center without our transportation, you probably can't get to the grocery store. We also have within senior services many other services other than the senior centers that are available. We have home delivered meals, which is a free program. And recently this year we started feeding pets with our seniors because we realized that half of their home delivered meal, or a portion thereof, was going to their animals, their companion animals. So animal welfare is also one of my divisions. So we teamed up with Science Diet and we were able to get grants for food there. And then we just received a huge grant from Planned Parenthood this week with about 800 cans of cat food to help supplement that. We also have transportation services. We have on demand. We have medical transportation. We have 2 funds. One is through the ARC. One is a Gwinnett County funded program. And then we have respite and homemaker services. So we have a huge waiting list. When Centerville opened, the capacity was 160. We had a waiting list of 320. We still have 160 people waiting to get services there. We were also speaking with the City of Grayson, and we're in the process of the final approval of the MOU. We will be utilizing that senior center beginning in January for about 40 people. We're starting a small satellite center there 3 days a week, just based on the facility availability, because we have some ongoing programming. So we were fortunate enough to meet with you guys, meet with Lisa, who I worked with for years, my background with counties and parks and recreation. So we knew about your facilities, we knew about the senior center. And so we need help, we need to reach out. We need to take folks off the waiting list and serve more seniors, and you guys are all aware that our seniors changing in Gwinnett County. We're finding folks who are still in their 60s that are working, who still need socialization and recreation, so we're trying to tap into those folks as well. At Snellville, for example, we're opening a Saturday morning program and a Sunday afternoon program, hoping to reach some of those people that just want to socialize, that may be single, and just need to get out and talk with somebody, and also get the benefits of wellness classes and some meals as well. So we're here today to let you know that we would love to partner with you through an MOU to use the facility at Briscoe Park for this service. We've already met with the health department there, as well as the ARC for review and approval. Both have passed. So upon your decision, any further questions and some legal work we should do back and forth, we want to make sure that you guys have the information. So every one of you has a packet today. And inside your packet, there's just some flyers that tell you a little bit about the program. Of course, there's a sample MOU. That's the Graceland one. And then we do, as part of the funding, a newsletter that goes home to all the home delivered meal clients, all the home-based clients, as well as our senior clients at the center. It's required to be in 16-point font, so it's readable, and it has to include health and wellness components every month. And then you will see in the back of the folder on the right-hand side, there's an activities calendar. Each of the centers has their own activities calendar for the month. They're independently supervised, so they do their own programming, but they have to meet minimum requirements for wellness activities. Then there's a menu, a sample menu for you guys to look at. They all select the menu, they get it in advance, and they select their meals in advance, and they come in and they get a color-coded coupon or token or ticket. And they walk through line, and they serve. And part of the, one of the key things I forgot to mention was that you have to be ambulatory to be part of these programs. You can't have a caregiver attend with you, but your caregiver would be the one that would assist you with restroom activities and food serving and things like that. Then we just have some volunteer flyers. We have a senior prom every year. We have a senior picnic every year where all 4 of the groups get together. We have a big time. So we would just like to present this to you guys, let you think about it. And if you have any questions, we'll be happy to entertain those right now. And we're more than willing and welcome to come back and discuss it at a later time if we need to.
Anybody have any questions?
So the meals would be served in Briscoe Park?
Yeah, we didn't, our senior center is just so jammed with activities and everything
Right.
going on. We looked at that first, because obviously that would be not the place to put them. But because there just was not the feasibility to be consistent, like one week a Wednesday morning might be available, but the next week it's not. So the consistency is important for the program. So we decided to go ahead and come over to Briscoe, let's look at it, see if we could do it. So the Bay McMichael room is the room that we're looking at. Right now, if we go through it, we do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, during the day, 8 to 1, somewhere in that vicinity. That should be no problem with us. Tuesday right now, since Blood is back over here on Fridays, Tuesday voting is really the only thing we kind of consistently have during the day. When that happens. So it just, it made it more logical to put it over there so that we could serve, and just say, no, we can't do it. So hopefully, in the future, if we do some changing around or anything, and senior center's over there, it's an easy, mix in. But it won't affect, us in a negative way as far as the facility itself. Trying to fit it in at the senior center just really wouldn't work for a lot of reasons, for the people that we already have. And then again, the consistency for the new people coming over just really, so yes, it would be at Briscoe in the Betty room.
So meals would be served Monday, Wednesday, Friday, is
Yes.
what you're saying?
Yes.
And because we don't have a kitchen, their services would be prepackaged. So they would come over, of course, health services came over, and there's certain things that have to take place, and that's fine. We have a way to put refrigerator, freezer, the things that they need. So far, the entities that had to approve it have.
So the meals would be delivered refrigerated and
They would be delivered warm.
warm, okay.
And then they would be kept at warming temperature and served that way. And we would be purchasing the warming ovens for them to be stored in.
Okay,
We'd be
okay.
purchasing a refrigerator freezer unit. For example, for like milk deliveries that we could lock and maybe roll away, or just keep in the conference room for now, out of the way. We deliver milk 3 times a week, so there's not a Friday delivery, so we'd have to have the Thursday for the Monday kind of a thing. And the most important thing I didn't mention, and shame on me, was we're funding all of this. staffing, the equipment that we need. We just hope that we can get the facility for no charge, but we're funding the staffing, we're gonna train the staffing. We're in the process now of hiring new staff to begin the training for the Grayson program. So it would be part-time staff that we would fund through grant funding as part of the program. So there is an opportunity that we could lose funding, but we haven't in 15, 20 years, so we don't expect to. And as a matter of fact, this year, the federal government released about $4 million more, so we were able to get about $400,000 of that to help reduce our waiting list. So part of that funding is helping to fund this initiative.
And most of the, obviously Gwinnett County is very big, but as Blake had mentioned, the ones we're helping at this point through our facility would be the local patrons that are here. It wouldn't be somebody from Beaufort or.
And that's super important. It's important for you guys to understand that it may not just be Snellville residents. More than likely it would be, but our requirements are Gwinnett County residency.
Right.
So that's the plan now, and the same would apply at Grayson. They have about 12 people that meet on a weekly basis there. We've brought them to Snellville to introduce them to our site. They're very excited. There's super just fun stuff that we do all the time.
Okay. So far 3 days a week, 8 to
Yes.
1?
Yes,
Okay.
1 or 2.
Right.
Most of the clients who are ride transportation and leave at 1 o'clock because there's a requirement that they can only be in a vehicle up to 3 hours a day. So that includes morning and afternoon traffic. So we try to keep ahead of the Gwinnett County traffic. We all know that. Also, as part of this funding, there's a donation suggestion for all the clients that come in. So there's a box that says meals. There's a box that says transportation. They drop in whatever they want to. It does not go against the grants, just goes back into the county general fund. It's not a lot of money, but it is just a buy-in and ownership, a membership to be in the program so that you're contributing for the services that you're receiving.
What do you estimate the county service bill is on a per-person basis?
That's a great question. I don't think we've ever, well, we do break it down with the IRC funding for the staffing level. Honestly, almost every single position that we have in the kitchen producing the food, that we have in our office running the program, and our staff there are purely funded through the grant, as well as the food. So it's not that expensive. We're fortunate to be able to receive that grant funding year after year, and that includes positions. And as we grow, we have mentioned in our application for this year, and it's a state grant cycle, so it's July, June, that we mentioned the Grayson expansion, and then we will, once again, when we receive the additional funding, we mention the possibility of adding Snellville satellite site as well. So it's purely funded through the state and through the funds that we receive from the federal government.
Yeah, my concern is if that funding goes away, you have a group of people who are left. And if the city has to pick up the
We face that
slack.
issue at all 4 of the senior centers as well. I feel very strongly that the county would be proactive with a strategy to manage that because we're serving over 600 clients currently. However, with the recent election and things that changed, there was of course some funding concerns with the new president and the federal funds and things like that. We just met with Congressman Woodall a month ago, and he assured us that the Older Americans Act was strong and it was going to be supported for years to come. With the additional of the $4 million that came back in this year, we feel really strongly that that's a fund increase. We thought there would be a decrease. And the ARC let us know that they expect that to be our standard amount now, so that was an increase. But there is, of course, it is a grant. There could be a recession, there could be a crisis, and it could go away. That's a possibility, exactly. You're right.
Okay.
So next steps are, you're
We'd like to
still,
present you with an MOU, and your city manager and attorneys, you guys go through it, look at it, it's pretty simple, straightforward. Of course, there's gonna be some legal wrangling on some terminology and some,
always.
and some of that type of thing, and we're very receptive, it goes through our law department. Then we would present it to the commissioners, get it on an agenda item, and get it approved by them, as well as you guys do the same process here, and then we'll put a big giant, Gail will take her marketing talents to work, and we'll put a huge press release out, and get kind of great press, and all kinds of great photographs, and start meeting some seniors.
The hope would be that we could possibly get this whole process done starting January.
Okay.
Would be the hope.
And then we would start working with seniors in advance and start taking some input information, and hopefully getting people pre-screened, so that day one we could have custody.
right, well, thank you very
Our
much.
pleasure. Thank you guys for
Appreciate y'all
hosting
being
us.
here. Good to
Thank you
see
so much for your
Reggie.
time. Y'all have a great evening.
Thank
Y'all good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you. Ribbon cutting ceremonies.
We have, Brian has his hands full sometimes with new businesses and expanding businesses, trying to make everything fit with good attendance and a good turnout at these businesses. We just wanted to kind of bring this up again and ask, maybe, do we need to make a change where we don't focus on out of city limit businesses? Do we need to limit it to city limit businesses? Do we not, I mean, Brian, you try to get them on convenient times for the council.
Yeah, and maybe that's something that we can talk about specifically, what would be a good time for a majority of people, so when people call up and say, I have a ribbon cutting, and I'd like to attend, or, the mayor and council to attend, what would be a good time? I know Christie's, everybody has jobs, everybody is busy, so I know that, and, and I try to discourage them from doing weekends as well, because,
Oh, it's what I eat. These places.
yeah, so.
Cutting free ice cream, come on.
I guess the question is, what would make it easier for you to get to these ribbon cuttings? Do we want to continue doing them outside city limits? We did, sometimes they're outside city limits and they still want us to attend, but do we want to tell them we're not going to do that? So anyway, what would make it easier for y'all to get there, if anything?
Public transportation.
I know a lot of them recently have been
That's it.
on either a Saturday morning or early afternoon. And for me, during the farmer's market season, that
We're
was,
like the opposite.
that was
Yeah.
just about
of us are
impossible to
opposite.
get to.
Well, and I think, to me, as long as we could get, if we could get one or two of us there,
Yeah.
the expectation to get everybody there is, there's just too many conflicts with schedules.
And normally, that has been the case.
Yeah.
It's just, it's probably a busier time, but really, if we could just say, do we want to continue doing it outside of city limits? That's a big one right there, because I know that would cut down on the,
I really like that. The outside the city limits is still an incredibly important part of our economy, and, they need to feel like they've got a place still, and so many people don't.
I think you almost have to do it on a case-by-case basis, because when they start to pile up, it really doesn't matter where they are. You have the conflict, and I agree with Christie. The community doesn't end at the city limits.
yeah.
And some of them, I think, are just, well, you're in Lithonia, I
Right.
think that's a little bit outside, but some of the stuff that's right around, I think it's important,
Yeah.
so that you make them feel part of the community.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll just continue to try to
Just continue and try to get there when you
get as
can.
many
and-
people there as we can.
Yeah, because they really enjoy seeing,
If you could, I think if you could say, give me a couple of dates, and I can check, because sometimes it just, you have a prearranged meeting or something, previous commitment, and there's just no way where, if they move it an hour or a day, it wouldn't be a problem. I think
Yeah,
that's the
I'm-
easiest.
Put all the food ones on
yes.
Make all the food ones at, what time? What time you
Saturday
get off?
noon, really anytime Saturday or Sunday is
Or the
fine.
evening.
Or the evening, but sometimes I can't do those either, so it just
Yeah, the
depends.
corporate people can't be there sometimes,
Yeah,
yeah.
so it's, you're trying to juggle
Yeah, depending on
everything.
what-
Anything with food. yeah.
We'll only
Okay.
do them if they have takeout, how's that?
For those who missed it, Christy was at the Roll It Up
Oh, yeah,
ice
that was
cream
fun.
place, and
Yeah.
you would put the, it was freeze dried,
Nitrogen, liquid,
and-
ice cream.
and she was exhaling and smoke was coming out of her
Very,
nose.
very
So you
bizarre.
missed that. So
For
don't
someone
miss
who's-
it.
That sounds like
You didn't
something
get a
we
picture?
shouldn't have
I
missed.
did,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I didn't,
Yeah,
Christy
and
as
Oh.
a dragon.
I try to,
Okay.
try to make y'all look.
It was a little
as
too, it was not my image, let's just say.
She's
Not
a
the image
dragon.
I wanted as a teacher either.
Yeah, I think we need to try to encourage them, but, for me, it's all about scheduling.
Right.
If somebody does something and it's a work day that I'm in Lawrenceville, if they do it at 10:30, chances are I'm not gonna make it, because
Yeah.
to get to work and then run back here and then back there.
And
It's just-
closer lunch hour would make more sense because
Yeah.
a lot of
Then you got a
times you
natural
can get out
break.
then when you can't other times.
You
And
get-
maybe
you
we
get
ought to
Dave and
note,
Barbara
you know,
on those days.
please, let us know as much in advance as possible.
Yeah.
I suggest 30 days. Let's just add that on there.
All right.
Good deal.
And y'all try to, I know I fail in this a lot, but try, when Brian does send out an email, try to respond to him and let him know yay or nay so he can find out if at least one or two is gonna be able to go.
Sounds good.
And I'll try to do the same. 'Cause I'm bad about the
Roll it up ice cream.
The discussion of an associate judge appointment for municipal court. I asked this to come on the work session, so that everybody could review the resume for Kim Gallant. I know the last time we were going through, appointing a part-time judge, everybody wanted to be a little more hands-on with the process and be able to talk to the judge, so, Kim Gallant has been filling in on some Wednesdays because Judge Lang has had to decrease his schedule due to his cancer treatments. So she has been filling in. Apparently everybody loves her.
Oh,
But what's the process here? Do we do an appointment in the council meeting or does Judge Lang just hire her?
I think Judge Lang has
Yeah,
the
he has-
authority under the charter, but he doesn't do that unless y'all bless it.
Okay.
And they've come to the meeting and been introduced.
Well, I know we swore in one at the meeting. That only stayed with us a week.
Oh dear.
I know, it was for a good thing. I mean, she got appointed on up and can't fault her for that, but it's what happens when you get the really good ones. So I just wanted to give everybody an opportunity to take a look at her resume. Does anybody have any questions or does anyone want to talk to her? How much time do we need to give before we can give Judge Lang the go-ahead?
I was impressed
I'm
with
good.
her resume.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
So the process is he appoints, so there's no like hiring process of multiple people sending in resumes and all that stuff.
He is the hiring process, so he has the authority to hire.
So why are we even talking about it? Really? Like, what's the point of this?
Because I just know the last time we went to hire a part-time judge, some members of council wanted to be able to review resumes, because we can give Judge Lang feedback.
Yeah.
He does have the authority to do it, but I don't think if we went back and said, we don't want you to hire this person, I don't think he would do that. So it's just to give us an opportunity to take a look, see if anybody had any issues or concerns.
No
That's all.
consent, just advise.
Yeah,
And we still have Rick.
yes.
Do we know anything about how she leans, lenient or,
Against Dave Emanuel,
well, that's everybody.
pretty much. Yeah, so I think that's a good one,
You
really.
think?
No, I don't know. All I've heard, I've had some feedback from a couple of the clerks and some other people that said that she's been great,
Yeah.
being up on the bench, filling in now. So does anybody want some time to take a look at it?
'Cause we can fire her if we don't like her, right?
Well, we could ask the judge. If it's his authority. He's
I'm
good
got-
with
fine,
it.
I'm
Yeah.
fine with her. Yeah.
Okay,
His authority, so I don't really care.
okay.
Well, we can't really do anything really. if
Well,
it's
yeah,
his
we could say
authority.
no and he would say,
He would be like, if he wants them or not.
Yeah, I mean, so you've got some say-so, you just don't have the authority.
Yeah.
So you good, or you want time?
Oh, I'm fine.
Okay, so if you wanna tell Judge Lang, he's
Okay.
good to go?
Sure. Got that in the minutes.
And the
The,
projects.
A couple of little things before we get to the projects. The library gala attendance, don't forget,
yeah.
we'll pass this out. It is
second.
November 2nd, at 7 o'clock at Ashton Gardens, just past
Find a
this.
dress that
Did y'all wanna,
We have 6 of 10 seats filled right now. And, they're calling and wondering, how many have we got coming? Do we need help filling the other seats? make it available, check with department heads?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then we'll get back with them.
Who's
I think
going?
everybody's on there but Dave.
Yeah, we'll be out of
Oh,
town.
you're not gonna go?
We're out of town.
Oh, okay. So who are the six?
Okay.
Us four,
Us
Butch,
4 and Butch.
and,
Yeah, and, Eric.
oh, good, okay.
Yep, I'd say check with department heads and then
Okay,
go from there.
sure will. All right.
Yeah.
And then when we get closer, we can talk about maybe we can ride together.
That's good, because it is kind of, it's
It's
Sugar
a little bit
Hill.
of a hike.
Yeah.
It's off of Peachtree Industrial. Katie had a friend that got married there.
Ooh, I have that day off. I'm helping with governor's honors.
And there you go.
Ooh, I won't be as tired as I normally am. This is good. Okay.
All right, I think everybody has the list. Town center progress, we've had, some good meetings with, both the, potential developer as well as, the county. We do need, a short executive session or one item in the executive session, to discuss, town center. As I said, library progress has moved on. We have a meeting this Friday for what I term here the final library exterior layout. I really have high hopes for that. Let's see, TSW will be represented.
All right, you wrote it here, final
yes,
library
yes,
meeting, so I'm
yes.
gonna hold you to that.
Well, Eric and I met with them last week to kind of, I guess, pave the way, presented options, and I hope that they are ready to go this Friday. Marketing Snellville. Eric, you want to tell them about the award that Garage Works got the other day from the chamber?
Oh, sure, briefly. Every year, the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce does a function for small businesses, and they do a small business of the year for a bunch of different categories. They also do a small business champion category. And Josh Sweeney at Garage Works won the Small Business Champion of the Year award for this year. As his efforts at the Garage Works facility, and it's been a partnership with you and the DDA.
I think that's a real positive thing for the city. We definitely have assisted in that, in the progress he's made there. Town hall meetings, we really need to coordinate it at the right time in the future. Don't really have an update there. The UDO, I think the meeting that we had on the 17th, both as far as the UDO and Caleb and the TSW team, and down below the comp plan team led by Jim Somerville. I think you guys provided good answers to them, answered some questions, and I can tell you that the staff also met with Caleb and went over some of the key points and hot spots. So I'd say both are deep into, if not the final draft, at least the final draft to review further. So a lot of work going on by our consultants in both those areas. Roundabout construction, you've probably seen the paving out at North and Fars. We had a couple of little issues to address with citizens there. I think every citizen that I've talked to, they realized in the end, it's much better to have a little inconvenience and keep the roadway open rather than close it and have a roundabout detour. So, but finally making some progress there. 78 and 124, you probably noticed a lot of the work done outside of the roadway on 78. On eastbound Clower at 124, they have not closed that furthest lane to the south for the 90-day period yet. They're closing it during the workday and then reopening it. We'll get the word shortly as to when they move their cranes in, and that one lane will be closed for the 60 to 90-day period. Business and economic development, we do have a short executive session item needed there. The SPLOS program, thank goodness for SPLOS. We've used a lot of those funds for property acquisition. believing there will be reimbursement. We'll have a full update on November the 12th. Higher education outreach, we are working on, we have a plan now for the second floor vacant space. We'll work with contractors to get some pricing for the temporary space for the DDA classes. Comp plan progress, as I said earlier, I think that was a good meeting last week. Work sessions always provide a lot of good information to staff and consultants. Ordinance development, the utility right-of-way encroachment ordinance is on for a first reading tonight. We're working on a major personnel policy update with Gabby and Chuck. We've got to provide some input to Chuck's draft. SDS negotiations, I think there's going to be a little update at the next IGR meeting, which is after
November
next.
3rd, yeah.
So we'll have more to report. The GWMA committee will have a report after some discussions with the county. And long-term planning is ongoing, no real updated report there. I do have, I probably should have put this in correspondence. This probably is part of the town center, but from Gwinnett Water Resources. This went out to a group of residents in the Eastwood area behind our property on Wisteria. We wanted to inform you that beginning on October 25th and continuing until about November 29th, Gwinnett County and/or its engineering consultant, Precision Planning, will be in your neighborhood, staking and surveying property in order to construct the above referenced public works project, which is a town center gravity sewer. This project will provide new gravity sewer to the proposed city of Snellville Town Center. So Gwinnett Water has started the engineering, the surveying on that improvement. That's a necessity and a big plus for the community. Hopefully that line can serve more than just town center. Hopefully we can provide sanitary sewer service for a big part of an unsewered area back there.
Yeah, they're still talking about 24, 36 inch, whatever. They're talking about a big line.
That depends on the engineering. You know, they'll size it. And that's about all I have.
Okay. And then we do have, anything else anyone have? Okay. Then we'll have a short executive session. During the work session of the mayor and city council of Snellville, Georgia, Mayor Pro Tem Bender announced that certain matters